Welcome, everyone.
Welcome back.
Welcome. Today we're joined by my brother, Jerod. Obviously, that's Nate.
Say hi, Jerod.
How's it going, everybody?
Hello. That's my brother, Jerod.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Colin.
We're back.
And today we watched Clifford, the 1994 movie where Martin Short, at the age of 40, plays a 10-year-old psychopath.
Psychopath's the wrong word. Satan is the correct word.
He is certainly the spawn of Satan. He terrorizes his whole family and everyone he meets.
If you're a visitor, would you do me a favor? Would you enter your visitor card number?
Martin Short. And Charles Grodin also was in this movie as Uncle Martin.
The poor bastard who literally is just trying to live his life is being terrorized by the Antichrist.
He's just torn apart minute by minute by him.
By a 40-year-old man that looks like that's supposed to be a 10-year-old.
It's actually a pretty wonderful thing when you look at the difference between Martin Short from behind, where it's clearly a child dressed in the same clothes with a Martin Short wig. And then you have Martin Short on his knees for the front shot.
We think he's on his knees.
Or he's standing in a
I
pit.
think he was either that or he was doing that little bendy thing he was doing when he was singing that song.
But you know, like, his movements are so seamless, you wonder if they've got him on like a little cart and they're just like scooting him in. It's like, oh!
Maybe. But he is, you have to keep in mind, he is 5'7". So it doesn't take much for him to look
taller.
to look
actors.
short. You just have to get actors and say, oh, everybody has to be at least 6'4".
Yeah.
And then we'll just make him look like he's actually the height of a 10-year-old.
It's like the Lord of the Rings effect. They like do forced perspective where they stood Elijah Wood next to Ian McKellen and they're like, oh, he looks really short.
Yeah.
But there's only so much they could do in this movie because I imagine everybody's like pretty normal height.
Right.
Yeah. But with Martin Short being 5'7", it really, and a little bit of that forced perspective, you don't even have to do much.
So I want to ask you both this question. Who's this movie for?
I could not tell you. I mean, it's just like, you have no idea because, we talked before, it's not for kids. It doesn't look like it's for adults. It's just, I personally can't stand the movie. But to Martin Short's credit, he sold the movie. He did a really good job, but...
Yeah, he's fucking great. I mean, the worst part is that his face just looks so goddamn old. But other than that, I mean, like, he does not speak like a 10-year-old would talk.
Phew, that's a lovely bathrobe you were wearing. Although I'm sure anyone else who wouldn't look half as lovely.
That's the best part of this movie. I love this movie.
Yeah.
I fucking have loved this movie since childhood. This movie is great. Martin
Was Colin
Short
dropping
fucking
the head as a
sells
child?
Yeah, a couple of times. No,
only a couple times. But Martin Short gives such a performance that in order for this movie to even have a chance of working, you have to have somebody like Martin Short because a kid would never give a performance like this.
Absolutely not.
True.
And it sells the creepiness a little more that he's fucking 40 years old.
Yeah, the
trying
way
to
he
talk like
looks
a
at
child.
the camera sometimes.
Yeah,
he
just
gets
like
these moments.
the sadistic.
Or when he pulls out his recorder.
Yeah.
Because 10-year-olds carry around secret recorders. So you had us watch this piece of shit. So let me get this straight. I very much enjoyed this movie, but it sucks.
Actually, yeah.
But it's great. It's great.
That's what makes it so great.
So why don't you give us the intro to the movie?
All right, so we start in the future, or the year 2050, I believe.
Yeah.
The only evidence that it's the future is they have an electronic gate, which certainly doesn't look futuristic by today's standards, and maybe barely futuristic looking in 1994 when the movie came out.
Yeah, most people probably had an opening gate that had the keypad on it.
Yeah, I mean,
but the kids in there were all wearing really
they were dressed
weird
like
uniforms.
Yeah, they're dressed like 1950s greaser kids.
Except for Ben Savage,
who
was wearing
Ben
normal
Savage.
kids' clothes.
Well,
So he's a priest, which makes no sense that he would choose.
What was that place called?
It was, oh my god, what the fuck was it called? It was something about It was
Boysville or
something. It was
something
Boysville
like
or
that.
something like that.
I don't remember that.
No,
It was
that's
something fucked
on the
up.
side, yeah.
But yeah, so he decides to be a priest of some denomination that we're not
Yeah.
affiliated with.
Just looks like
And-
a priest.
yeah.
Priest, I guess.
Yeah.
And
The Catholic
and
variety.
he's walking and like greeting all these kids and shit, and then like some fucking like Three Stooges slapstick comedy starts happening out of nowhere, where he starts getting hit every 30 seconds.
Man was he climbed up to a sycamore.
Oh yeah, the basketball. First the kids like throw fucking tomatoes,
tomatoes at him.
Well, they all throw them at the tree deliberately. It's like, I guess so they don't get caught,
Not
but just to
one
show that they're
missed the
pissed.
tree.
No.
They were good.
Stuff starts flying off the ceiling. So it's like a basketball. And it's comedy, so it's a rule of threes. So he gets hit with a basketball, and then he gets hit with something else. I don't
And
know.
each time he tries to,
Is it a
to-
briefcase?
Suitcase.
It's a
Yeah,
fucking
it's a
briefcase.
suitcase.
And then the third
He tries
one
to
is
Ben
person.
Savage.
Yeah,
He gets
Ben
hit with Ben
Savage.
But he tries to speak each time. Who's?
And it's like what we learn later on is he deserves this.
Oh, he
Yeah,
does.
people
absolutely.
need to hit his ass more, if anything. So yeah, so he gets hit, and then Ben Savage is this kid who I'm guessing in the conversation with the other kids earlier is the kid that they're referencing is like he's a troublemaker. He's the one who's getting in all the issues. And Martin
Yeah.
Short's like, I remember when I was a 40-year-old, 10-year-old, and I'm gonna tell this kid my whole life story.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's where we go from there. We start talking about his fucking demented 40-year-old, 10-year-old self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to talk some sense into that kid because he blew up the gymnasium.
Blowing up the gymnasium was an appropriate response then.
Yes, I did.
Right.
Was it-
Like,
but-
how extreme.
They reference that for 2
He
seconds.
blew up the gymnasium, and they're just like,
Well, you blew up the gymnasium, so...
He's like,
You remember
you
when
should
you
be
blew
in
up
prison,
the
kid. You should-
Blowing up the gymnasium, blowing up the gymnasium, blowing up the gymnasium was an appropriate response.
Just
But-
consider
but-
yourself lucky that people are just mad at you.
Be realistic though. In this hour-and-a-half long movie, how many times are there people in this movie that should be in fucking jail?
Okay,
There's a
yeah,
sexual
that's-
assault in this
yes.
movie. There's a bomb threat in this
Yeah,
movie.
man.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Who's this for? Because you look at the cover art, which is horrible. You would assume this is probably a movie meant for children, but it's definitely not. And
Yeah.
me, in my adult sensibilities, was not ready for this. And we watched fucking Society. So, and this movie might have disturbed me more than that.
Possible.
So he starts telling the story.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're on a plane to Hawaii with Clifford and his parents.
With the greatest intro shot of just his little bowl cut at the top
Yeah.
going in.
I think his haircut is crucial in this movie because when he turns his head quickly and you just see his hair whip around, that kind of sells him as a kid a little bit because that's
Yeah.
kind of how kids are.
He doesn't like his hair being
Yeah, he's
ruffled.
like, "Look." Yeah.
Don't ruffle my hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's like, what's he doing? He's like kicking
Yeah,
the
they're
seat
going
in
to
front of
Hawaii,
him?
and he starts kicking the seat in front. No, he's bouncing his little dinosaur, his toy
of the
dinosaur.
tray.
He's bouncing it on the fucking tray table.
Is this immediately when
Well-
you started to hate this movie?
Well, everybody's sleeping on the.
Would you please stop hitting the back of my chair? I am trying to sleep.
I'm sorry, Miss Nice Older Person, but I don't know what you're talking about. Perhaps you were just having a nightmare about your early days in the circus.
When I start to hate the movie is when he starts messing around with Uncle Martin. All of it up until then was kind of enjoyable, but it's like... a
You're like,
little
this
off the
little
wall, but-
fucker.
Yeah, man. When he, when he's almost down in the plane, that was just like a little too much. But
Yeah.
When he's almost taking a plane down. I'm
Yeah.
sure
he
in
shut the engines down.
I'm sure in 2020, and this movie, there's a lot of really insensitive comments towards all different kinds of people.
No,
Yeah.
but he's annoying the piss out of his parents. His dad can't stand the fucking sight of him.
The guy from Pray for Death,
Yeah.
the bad guy in Pray for Death.
No, I don't remember that guy's name, but he was on some sitcom in the 90s.
He's been in like a million
I've
things.
seen him.
Yeah,
before,
he's been in a
too,
bunch
yeah.
of things, but I can't fucking... But this guy fucking is like losing his shit on the kid.
I fucking hate you!
Yeah, while the wife wakes up smashed as shit.
Yeah. She's always drinking to cope with having to deal with Clifford. which is what I would do if
Yeah.
I was in the same
So
situation.
to get rid of
no,
him-
drinking would not numb the pain enough.
No.
I'd be like a crack addict or something. I mean, come on. What are you talking about?
So to get rid of him for a couple hours so everybody can just get some fucking sleep, they let him go up to the captain and talk to the captain, because this was the early 90s and you could do that. I
You could
guess.
just walk into the
Apparently.
captain's quarters.
I don't know if that's true, but
He is a 40-year-old, 10-year-old.
yeah,
so
he's
it's
a
fine.
10-year-old. So this cute little kid wants to just talk to the captain to tell him he's the bestest captain in the whole wide
He
world.
said-
And I think you're the bestest captain in the whole wide world.
He says bestest a lot in this movie.
Everything's the bestest in the whole wide world. So he fucking goes and sees the captain and asks him, can we land in Los Angeles instead of Hawaii so I can go to Dinosaur World? And the captain tells him that the only way they're landing in Los Angeles is if there's an emergency.
Oh, he makes it an emergency.
So then you see the plane go into a nosedive because he shuts the engines down, forcing the plane to make an emergency landing in Los Angeles.
And he gropes the
Oh,
flight
yeah.
attendant.
He
He like
creepily
gets up near her and he
gropes
like starts putting the dinosaur up there, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a little fucking creepy.
Oh, and he blames everything he does on the dinosaur.
I'm sorry, I don't know why Stefan did that. Are you out of your tree, sir?
They have like split personalities and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking weird. I mean, like, there's a lot of like weird sexual undertones in this movie from Martin Short, and it's like, you think a 10-year-old's like that much of a horn dog? That like, that's what I'm saying. Who's this fucking movie for? No, what, like, it was a director like, oh, you know what? When I was a 10-year-old, I just like really got off really easily. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That creepy look in his eye, man, is just like,
So he
That's
takes
what
the
I'm saying, especially when he looks at the camera.
yeah.
So he takes the plane down, and like clearly, like if you're a parent, like 2020, you take a plane down, your kid's probably going to jail
Oh, yeah.
at this point. But like he gets off the plane, and the dad's like, "I'm gonna miss my conference in Hawaii," and he said, "What am I gonna do?" It's like, well, let's reach out to my brother who I haven't spoken to in like fucking 10
Don't
years.
Clifford's
forget-
idea.
Well, don't forget the stroke comment.
Oh my god! We gotta talk about the fucking stroke
Oh, he mentions
comment.
it twice.
Like
in the
that, I'm
beginning.
sure that wouldn't fly today.
No, in 2020, this joke would not be politically correct.
Crazy. Uh-oh. Looks like Daddy's gonna have a big stroke. And then he'll be talking like that.
Oh, I swear to
But he says something along the lines of, "Uh-oh, Daddy's gonna have a stroke," and then he goes, "Ah, you're gonna
And then
talk
he
like
won't
this,
talk
I'm
like
like this," and it's like, oh god, where's this movie gonna go?
Yeah, well, and then Uncle Martin was planting the seed in Mary Steenburgen's ear too. I've got
Yeah.
I've got a cousin. What's his name?
Yeah.
Like who? I was there for a day at his christening. He's 10 years old now.
Yeah, so we didn't even talk about that. So Uncle Martin, who is obviously our hero
Yeah.
in this movie, we cut to him, Mary Steenburgen, who's the every lady, is
Yeah.
working as an educational assistant in some giant building.
But she works at the same building
At the
as
same
Uncle
building as
Martin,
her- yeah.
who's played by Charles fucking Grodin.
Yeah. So she works in there. Her and Martin are together. He buys her this surprise house that only has one bedroom.
On a cliff.
And she's upset about it.
Yeah.
She's upset about it. Why is she upset about it?
Because it's on a cliff.
Clifford. I'm sorry. I just picked that up. No, she's not even upset about it that it's on a cliff. She's upset about it because she said, it's a fucking bachelor pad!
Just like my ex-husband.
Exactly.
But no.
Like,
At
this is
first
happening again?
At first she does. Yeah, that's the thing I thought was funny. She's like, it's happening again. And you're like, how many times has this fucking woman been divorced?
Right.
Believe I let this happen again.
Honey, what's wrong?
Can't marry you. You're just like my first husband. He didn't want kids either.
Yeah, she's always in all these movies. She plays the same character. It's like she
Maybe it's
plays
the same
It's like
age.
this is her performance. Was the same performance she gave in Step Brothers.
No, her performance in Step Brothers is way better than this.
It was.
No, but even throughout her career, she's looked the same age forever.
Yeah.
She was wrinkled however old she was here.
Yeah, she looked like she was in her 40s here, and she still looks like she's in her 40s. I feel like.
Yeah. So this guy has bought her this absolutely beautiful home in LA, which I can only imagine costs a lot of money for how scenic the view is. So there's trouble in paradise, obviously. So he's going to try to find a way to bail his ass out. 'Cause she wants kids. He's not sure if he wants kids. So that's how we introduce Clifford into the story.
Yeah, he uses Clifford for credibility.
So what happens after we get introduced to Martin? We're back at the airport, and he calls.
Yeah, his brother, the creeper, calls, and
he said, "Listen, I'm sorry. I haven't talked to you in years. I understand that. I know I haven't talked to you in years."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Will you watch my son while I'm away on this business trip? Like, you're just gonna dump your kid off on this guy? You're really."
Yeah, Martin, look, I know that I haven't made much of an attempt to keep in touch over the years.
You should really be happy that there's these extenuating circumstances
that
allow you to do it.
Yeah, and he goes back to his wife. He's like, he went for it. he
fucking went for it.
We're both like, fuck yeah, dude, we don't have to deal with this piece of shit.
Dump this little prick off. He really wants him dead. And you know, I can't remember, but there's multiple comments in this movie that people are making that they want this boy dead.
Yeah.
Driving these people to an early grave so they can get rid of fucking Clifford. Uncle Martin comes and picks him up, and he steals a bunch of people's shit from the airport.
Stole my dog's sneakers. Down. Somebody stole my dog. Have you guys unloaded everything on flight 791 yet?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so far I'm missing a mountain bike, a stereo, a surfboard, and a big brown dog.
The dog that never shows up again after he's in the car.
True.
Just disappears. Yeah. He's like, Papa makes me take everything because he's really concerned.
Yeah. He's scared of robbers.
Yeah, he's afraid of robbers.
Sorry, Uncle Martin. My dad's scared of burglars. He makes us take everything when we go on a trip.
Can anybody do the face that Martin Short makes multiple times in this movie? He's like.
And then they play his little recorder solo. He just does the.
The more we talk about this, the more I love it. I have to tell you, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I also love it.
That's what I'm saying. I enjoyed it this time.
Like if you said watch it again in 20 minutes, I would probably fucking watch it again because it's that entertaining.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a classic.
So he takes him back to his house. So he takes him in there, and I don't even remember what happens next. You're gonna have to tell me. They have a conversation when he first gets there.
No, they don't go to his house first. They go to his girlfriend's house, Mary Steenburgen.
Yes, they do go to Mary Steenburgen's.
And Clifford goes in while Uncle Martin's trying to get the dog. So Clifford goes in, and Mary Steenburgen is...
Mary Steenburgen.
Mary Steenburgen is in the shower, and Clifford sneaks in the bathroom and sticks his dinosaur in there while she's complaining about dying alone.
She's like talking to herself.
Yeah. And then scares the shit out of her with the dinosaur as Uncle Martin loses the dog off in the bushes because of a cat that Clifford scared out.
That's why you never see it again.
Yeah. You know what would have been really funny? This movie, because of how ridiculous the premise is, should have gone really over the top. So when the dog was like pulling him, I just wish that he would have fell flat on his stomach and the dog started carrying him through the neighborhood or something.
Oh yeah,
it just breaks the fence.
That's kind of what I was. That's kind of what I was expecting. But then
they just broke the fence.
It just breaks the fence and runs off.
So she's in love with him immediately because he's like a charming little prick. And then they go off to Uncle Martin's house.
Yep.
I don't know what happens after that. You're gonna have to.
I think he eats a bunch of ice cream.
He makes himself the ice cream.
Oh yeah, shitload of ice cream.
He said, "I made myself a snack, Uncle Martin."
And then he creepily comments about how her bathrobe looks.
Oh,
he's
Jesus,
like staring at her on his way out the door.
It wouldn't look half as good on anybody else.
Oh my God, she's
Lovely bathrobe you were wearing. I'm sure anyone else who wouldn't look half as lovely.
like, oh, I'm about to fuck this 10-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's the his little psychopath tendencies. You get the idea that he wants her.
But don't you guys wish that this movie would go like a little further?
I do.
Yes,
I wish Uncle Martin would have killed him.
No, but not even that. Like, would it have been more ridiculous if he would have tried to fuck her? Like, that movie, that obviously it's disturbing, but it would have been more...
Yeah,
like,
man.
Because it's not a movie targeted for kids, you almost wish that it would go to, like, the most extreme point, like killing it.
So this movie had a $19 million estimated budget, which is
Holy
nothing.
Shit. Oh, okay.
Well, there was some, like, really pretty matte paintings and stuff in it.
It's nothing by today's standards.
Yeah, 19 million's not much.
I mean, you're looking at $150 million for the average movie that comes out now.
Yeah.
Like, that's on the low end. I mean, that's like independent shit.
How much did it make?
Worldwide gross, $7.4 million.
That's beautiful. That's enough to
Yes.
finance one of Peter what's-his-fuck's homes.
That's like...
He made 2 movies in his career, and he's like, I'm done!
Yeah, that's like a third of the budget.
I think you need a bottle opener for that.
I do. You got one? So yeah, what was the director's name? Peter Flaherty.
Paul Flaherty. We always get it wrong!
I'm gonna make sure you don't do that this time.
Yeah, but he also directed Who's Harry Crumb, which we need to watch that. I remember that one.
I do like
classic.
John Candy.
John Candy in the performance of his life. Master of Disguise.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
There's nothing that beats Dana Carvey. Fuck off.
He was before Dana Carvey.
So we're off track because we never stay on track.
We never stay on track.
So they talked to Mary Steinberger, and he made himself the ice cream. So what's the next dumb fuckery that this little kid does?
He wants to go to Dinosaur World.
Of course he wants to go to Dinosaur World.
Yeah, he tells Uncle Martin he wants to go to Dinosaur World.
Uncle Martin.
And so I think the next thing that happens, right, is that Uncle Martin ends up taking him and Mary Steenburgen to his office.
Yes.
They go.
Yeah, because he's gonna go. He's like, we're gonna go to Dinosaur World in the morning.
Yeah,
it's 2 in the morning. You need to go to bed. Put the big gulp in the donut down.
Is it 2 in the morning when he's watching this?
When he's watching the natives.
Titties. He's watching the native titties on the TV.
Yeah,
and he said he turns it off. He goes, "I think that's pretty rude of you, Uncle Martin."
That was the
biggest act of cruelty. That's what he says. I was an act of cruelty.
Is Stefan
is the dinosaur. Stefan thought it was very rude of him.
Can I ask you guys both a question? You've both seen Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Yeah.
Is Stefan Danny Torrance's finger?
Yeah,
is that his imaginary friend in the movie? Well, I can't remember Tony.
Yeah,
because anytime he's about.
Can you remember what you were doing just before you started brushing your teeth?
Talking to Tony.
Stefan felt that was a very cruel action, Uncle Martin.
About to do something really sick and fucked up. The dinosaur goes in his ear.
Oh yeah.
He's like, call a bomb threat at my uncle.
In the middle of whatever's going wrong, Stefan, why would you do this?
So they go into the office. They're in there, and he's introducing Mary Steenburgen and Clifford to his sex pervert boss.
Yeah.
And what happens is he says like a comment. Clifford makes a comment about he has the bestest looking wig in the whole world.
Oh, fella. Hi, Sonny. Good morning, Mr. Ellis. My, that's the bestest looking wig I've ever seen. Oh no.
Oh
his
yeah.
rug.
Because he overheard them talking about the guy.
He heard him talk about his wearing a
wig.
wig. Yeah. And so he says he calls it a rug. I'm pretty sure. And he goes, "This isn't fake.
It's the bestest looking wig I've ever seen."
It's not. He's like, "This isn't fake. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. He's like, "But you said it was a rug."
And this is the first moment in the film where you're like, "This kid is a little fucker." I mean, yes, he did try to crash a plane.
Yeah.
But he's fucking with this guy's life at this point.
That's where I stopped enjoying it. Is because he's messing with Uncle Martin.
But no fucking 10-year-old would do that to any one of their.
Yeah, but they kind of halfway play it off as innocent with that one.
Yeah.
Like halfway play it off.
No, they tried.
You said it was a good looking rug. He said, I said bestest looking. I believe
bestest looking wig. I believe there is a difference.
In that moment, I believed he was a 10-year-old boy. You know, that was pretty good dialogue.
I couldn't shut off in my head that's Martin Short on his knees the whole movie. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's so entertaining. So the boss gets really pissed off, and then he says,
"Is that when the girlfriend?" He's like, "I'd like to call you sometime."
Yeah. But is that where he invites her to go out to San Francisco?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's a little later.
He invites her right after that.
Yeah, to go to San Francisco to do something.
Yeah, to open a new
education building or whatever.
A new daycare, basically. She's watching 3-year-old kids. It's not really.
Hey, remember? Yeah. So sex pervert boss wants her to go out there, and I'm surprised. Martin at no point during this is really off put by the fact that the boss is really
I think he gives a look.
Is he afraid he's gonna lose his job? Is the problem?
Yeah, he's just he's kind of concerned why the fuck does my boss want to talk to her?
Yeah. But he's too stupid to step in. Even when, like, later in the movie that he goes on the train all the way to San Francisco, he doesn't really put a stop to it. And she still gets assaulted, as we'll talk about a little later. But, yeah, so then they leave the office, and
but before they leave the office, he finds out from his boss that his plans for the whole transit system for LA.
Oh, they have to change.
It has to change. He needs to move the rails 2 miles, which is right over a dam, and he'll figure it out.
Right. Just like he always does.
Just like he always does. He's the best at his best at his gig. But he's like, we can't build a railroad system through there. It'll go through a river. It's like, oh, well, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
But he really doesn't ever figure it out. We don't even know.
He seems to work on it and have a plan. You just never see any of the specifics. Because
Nice.
Clifford's involvement. He's a little too drunk.
Don't listen to anything he says.
Right. You terrorist.
Fucker! Okay, so where are we at now? They leave the office building with Mary signing the marker.
And that changes the plans. They don't leave with her. They went to visit her at work. So they're leaving the office. They can't go to Dinosaur World because there's too much work to do. So naturally, Clifford starts trying to turn the car around while they're driving. No! Like, you're gonna make us crash! What the fuck?
He says, I need chocolate!
Oh,
He
yeah.
says, "Go get me." Oh, yeah, that's when they pull over at that gas station.
I need chocolate badly.
Yeah.
So then he fucking pulls over, runs into the gas station to buy chocolate, and they see a family that's going to Dinosaur World. And the one kid is dressed in a dinosaur costume. So then Uncle Martin has to argue with the guy at the gas station because they're out of chocolate.
How are you out of chocolate at a gas station?
So he ends up buying an Easter bunny, goes out, and Clifford's not in the car. So he runs to look for him in the bathroom, and he sees this fat kid squeezed into Clifford's creepy clothes counting money.
And that's where you get the first comparison of an actual 10-year-old and like
where did this 10-year-old
But you guys
get that
totally,
much money?
You totally forgot when Clifford's in the car and he sees the kid, he goes like this.
Yeah, he does that little look.
He looks at the camera. Every time he's about to do something terrible, he looks
and he gives the same look. He goes,
camera.
Yeah.
And listen, we got to talk about, this is the first scene in the movie where we start to get the issues with, like, some stuff that might not be all right now, which is like when he comes out of the bathroom and the mom goes, "Where is my son?" He's like, "Last time I saw him, he was counting a wad of cash in the bathroom."
Where's my son? The last time I saw him, he was counting the money that he was given in the men's room. You pervert! Ah!
And she starts fucking hitting him with her purse.
Yeah, because in the 90s it was funny to accuse one of your main characters of being a
sex pervert. Yeah. And she's like, "Where the fuck's my son?" And he comes out, he goes, "Mom!" And he's in that, and she's like, "What's going on with those fucking clothes?" Yes, that whole situation's really weird. And then they take him out of the dinosaur outfit. But you know, if he was a little more crafty about that, if he would have just got in the car, sat down, it would have been good. They could have just taken off, he could have gone to Dinosaur World. Didn't happen. So then they leave the gas station.
Yeah, then Clifford's grounded. Uncle Martin yells at him and tells him to spend some time in his room. Little does he know that Clifford was recording the whole time. Like
just like Tommy Wiseau. He's like, "Don't worry about it. I recorded everything."
How can they say this about me? I don't believe it. I show them. I record everything.
Dinosaur World is out.
That would be a mistake.
I've got a bombshell for you, young man. I happen to be the boss in this house, and you cannot fight City Hall.
Stefan, do you like Uncle Martin? So do I.
This is Martin Daniels. I've got a bomb.
The Walkman he stole from the...
Yeah, at least...
We forgot about that Walkman that he stole. At the beginning, he's like, "Where the fuck did you get this Walkman?" He's like, "Oh, a priest gave it to me."
It's like, "You're lying to me. You're lying to your father.
You're lying to your father. No, you're lying to me."
I don't think we really gave as much importance to the role of his parents. They really sold how insufferable he is after you really get to know him. Like, they're at their boiling point.
Yeah.
Oh, they're past that.
Even the dad even yells at the lady because he says something mean to Clifford. And then the lady's like, how could you talk to such a sweet boy like that?
Mom is on all kinds of pills.
He just calls her out for being fat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does. He says some really horrible things.
Bad thing to say to such a sweet child.
I'm dreadfully sorry, Mrs. Extra Wide Load. What are you packing in now, huh? About 24 jelly donuts a day, huh?
This is extra wide load.
Extra wide load. Yeah, it's terrible. This movie's got some things that would not fly in 2020, the year of our Lord. He goes and they're at the gas station and they have the whole thing go and he's like, we're going back to the house and you're grounded. And he sends him to his room and Clifford's like, you don't want to do that. You might not like what happens afterwards. And what happens afterwards is he starts recording him to fucking pin a goddamn bomb threat on him.
Yeah, oh my god, the bomb threat.
So what he does is he says a lot of words that just surprisingly would be able to be edited to make it sound like I have a bomb.
You said something like, I got a bombshell for you.
Yeah, I got a bombshell for you. So then after that happens, they go to the anniversary of Steinberger's parents. It's what, their 35th anniversary? That's what they said. They go out there, so that's when
I don't think 35 is that really important. Is it?
I mean,
to have a party for a bunch of people, like,
their love
how
is
self-important.
so long. So they go to the 35th party, and the first thing that our old boy Clifford's going to do is he's going to make him a little spicy of a drink, a little spicy boy. You want to tell about the spicy boy? Do you want to tell about the spicy boy drink?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, go for it.
He orders a Bloody Mary at like 7 o'clock at night for some godforsaken reason. So he walks away, the bartender sets it on the counter, and Clifford gets an idea. He pours out the drink and puts Tabasco sauce.
That's the whole drink.
He doesn't just mix it. He pours out the whole Bloody Mary and just replaces it with Tabasco sauce. And so he says, I think Uncle Martin wanted to give a speech, about
little prick
about the mom and the dad, and so he's forced into giving a speech, and he gives this elegant speech.
We thought it was elegant. I thought it was a little.
So compared to what he says about the mom, so he tells the dad, "We all love you. You've done a great job. You're a faithful husband." Yada yada yada. He takes a drink of the Tabasco and his head's about to explode.
He's like, oh, it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
It's like, whoa.
And do you notice that the husband the whole time is like, he just doesn't want to be there. He's
he
like,
rolls his eyes and shit.
He hates
him.
Well, he hates everyone. He just seems like he's upset with being there. And then I remember some comment about plastic surgery. She's like, he said, have you seen a woman who looks like this?
I went off to meet someone named Rowijni by a lady who looks like this. What makes your face look like that, Uncle Martin?
That's what they call a facelift.
What's a facelift?
And Uncle Martin's like, yeah, that's when they get plastic surgery.
He's like, that's called a facelift.
That's called a facelift.
Then he just screams real loud, what's a facelift?
Because he is Satan.
Yeah, dude.
So he orders the Bloody Mary. He starts freaking out. He goes in the bathroom. He's like, Mary Steinberger comes in and she's like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, I'm sorry.
So he tries to beat Clifford with a loaf of bread for it in the kitchen.
And then he's like, this is how you swing the baseball bat. He goes, thank you so much, Uncle Martin.
Oh, look at it. Hit it. Keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on the ball. Like that.
Tricky to remember all the facts.
Yeah, this movie is fucked up.
Well, and I feel like even at that point, like, Clifford's planting seeds to Mary Steenburgen that he's scared of Uncle Martin.
Yeah, he calls him Scary Uncle Martin.
Oh, you're scary Uncle Martin.
Scary. And he's like, I just edited a bunch of video or audio together to make him seem like he had a bomb threat. So then he comes out and they're socializing again, and then the cops show up.
No, first they're sitting there to dinner, and
I forgot the lipstick.
Throughout the movie, you see Uncle Martin putting on lip balm. Well, he switches the lip balm out for lipstick, and he puts lipstick on at the dinner table, and everybody laughs at him.
Because it's funny that a man's wearing lipstick in 1991.
And then the girlfriend's dad yells at him, and then...
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Oh,
Martin, you are hysterical.
What the hell do you think you're doing? That's what he said.
Mary Steinbrennan tells him to go to the bathroom and wipe it off because she's just like the same typical love interest, the naggy love interest that she always is in these movies.
And then he goes, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and then he runs down the street He runs down the hallway, and he's going down there, and he runs into one of the butlers, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am."
There's a bathroom on the second floor, madam.
Then he gets arrested.
Yeah. Yeah, then he gets arrested. They get him together. He goes, "I would never do a bomb threat." And then
I'm designing the railway system for the entire city.
So then he's getting grilled at the police station. And what's funny about it is they turn it into another Benny Hill-esque slapstick comedy routine where it's like the light's really hot. They're like, "Do you want us to turn it down?" "Yeah, turn it down." So they turn it down, and he's like, "Oh no, now it's too low. I can't see anything." And it's like, what the fuck? This doesn't even make any sense.
Tell us where the bomb is hidden. What are you talking about? Do I look like someone that would put a bomb under City Hall? I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get a confession out of me by grilling me under these hot lights. Sorry. Well, you know, now I can't see anything. That's... Is that better? Look, I don't want to make this about lighting. Let's just...
Who is this movie for, guys? I don't know who it's for. Is it for people in the 50s? Is it for people in the 90s?
I think I watched this movie at the perfect age in my childhood to where it just hit the sweet spot to where I wasn't a little kid and I wasn't an adult. So I was like right between.
There's your answer.
I was right between where he was. I was like probably like 11 or 12 when I first saw this movie.
So he gets arrested, he goes to the station, then he comes home, but he has to make this incredibly like elaborate story for Mary Steinbrenner.
Yeah, instead of just saying, "This kid's a fucking psycho."
Right. That's what I didn't get. He had the chance. I know, like Colin, you said it's because, you know, he's trying to put up the facade that he's still good with kids, but man, at that point, he should have just been like, you know, I can't deal with this piece of shit psycho kid. Like, he just got me jailed and humiliated me in front of your entire family multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
And doesn't he blame it on like Cousin Larry or something?
Cousin Larry.
Where do you hear this? I've told you about Larry Gould, right?
No.
You know, Larry Gould, Mr. Practical Jokes? The whole thing was a setup.
You know, it was his brother.
His friend and his cousins.
Yeah. And he says, the people as the police officers, they were just family relatives and they brought me in. And then when he goes to Clifford, he goes, "I'm fucking out on bail!" like the dude's life is literally falling apart because of a 40-year-old, 10-year-old. And it's fucking messed up. It made me really upset.
That's why I get.
Oh, and at this point, Mary Steenburgen has already accused Uncle Martin of going through, what was it, of having some kind of mental breakdown.
Yeah, and this whole movie, I'm just thinking the whole time, like, why the fuck are you not saying anything? This kid is a menace.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong?
He's putting himself through it, man.
Yeah, he is. But, you know, that's the thing. He's the hero. You constantly feel sympathy for him. And I would argue that by the end of the movie, he kind of gets, you know, a little bit of redemption, I would say. Yeah.
He should have killed him.
Yeah, he gets.
Okay, Uncle Martin gets redemption. Clifford never...
So where were we? He went back to the house after being in jail, and he tells Mary Steinberger about being in jail. Says it was a whole elaborate prank, and she leaves the house. So then he kept dunking Clifford's face in the cereal bowl,
like choking him from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they start to. That's when the movie takes a turn for me, and that's when it starts to really get good.
It does.
It's because
I would agree
now
as well.
he knows that Clifford's a little shit, and he's willing to do anything.
Yeah.
So then he really starts to hate him, and then that's when I think the fun comes, and they start playing off each other really well.
Yeah, because that's when Mary Steinberger goes to San Francisco.
Yeah,
the guy
she starts
calls him,
getting a little bit like looking at Uncle Martin, like, what the hell are you?
Yeah, man.
So she goes to San Francisco with the sex pervert boss, and Clifford makes the comment. He's like, "Oh, she's going out to San Francisco. Let's take the train or whatever to go see her or something like that."
Oh, he leaves him a note because he's grounded.
Oh, that's what it was.
He sends him to his room to write a confession to the police.
He tells him to write the confession to the police officer.
He tells him, "Look at me like a human boy for 1 second."
Yeah, dude.
But he is the Antichrist.
And he just cycles through the most like dead-eyed.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, those
looks on his
faces he makes. He's like, "Come on, look at me. You can do it."
And he makes this face.
And the whole time he's trying to get the toy dinosaur back.
Yeah.
What does he say again? What does he say again? Uh-oh, it's coming! Yeah, his dad's having a stroke. That's pretty terrible. Yeah, so he says that he's leaving on the train for San Francisco.
Yeah, he leaves him a note. He sneaks out.
He says, "I'm gonna." He tells him the exact train that he's gonna take.
He leaves him a note and his picture on the milk carton, like.
My dearest Uncle Martin, I have failed you in so many ways that I've decided to take the 1:45 train to San Francisco to try to find Miss Sarah Davis. I love you with all the love I have in my little boy heart. Clifford.
And he draws devil horns on it and shit. Yeah, so he goes and he takes the train to San Francisco. But what
he tries to find him. He's following him through the train station.
But what he finds out is he's throwing an old party back at the old homestead. Yeah. And he calls up and the guy goes, "Hey, it's Brian." And he's like, "Brian, who are you?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Who's hosting the party?" He goes, "Some dude named Clifford." He's like, "What's he doing?" He's like, "He told us if he takes us to Dinosaur Land that we could throw the party in the house." He's like, "Oh fuck, I rode on this train for 8 hours." And he gets off the train and he gets in a cab because he's gonna go to a hotel room. But when he's driving there, he tells the cab driver, "Stop right now!" And it's like downpouring rain to where you can't see shit. But somehow through a little tiny crack in a window, he sees Mary Steinenberger in there with the sex pervert boss eating dinner, and he's putting a fucking necklace on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says this is from the whole company.
It's not just from me. It's from the whole company. So she sees him outside, you know, and is like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, you know, this dude's like, moonlighting you, and then so she walks outside. "I gotta go to the bathroom and check out my necklace." And she's like, basically like, "Martin, what the fuck are you doing here?" And like, he's like, "What am I doing here?" You know, Clifford sent me here, basically. Like, he's like, had enough.
Starts calling him Hitler.
Yeah. It's like Hitler.
And she had on a dress that looked like a tablecloth.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. So there's that whole confrontation, and he decides to just leave. He's going to go back and take care of the situation back at the homestead. But first, Mary Steenburgen's got to get in the taxi cab, and since you're the guest, we're going to have you go ahead and take care of the worst situation in the entire film.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So at that point, it's like he's lost his girl. You know, he's like, she's thinking he's crazy. You know, and so she gets in the cab with, creepy, rug guy. And he's like, he's making moves on her. He's like, "I know you want me," basically. And he tries to make out with her, and she's like, "Whoa, get off of me, get off of me." She's like, basically like, "Get off of me, She's like, "This little virgin act is
my God,
it's not turning me off one bit."
I think this little high school virgin act is turning me off. You're wrong.
And it goes in again, basically, and tries to, molest her, and so she's like, Get the fuck off of me, dude." Rips his fucking toupee off, dude. Finally rips the toupee off and starts laughing in his face. He's like, "Give it back." She's like, "No." Tosses it out the window.
It was the most amazing thing in the world.
Sex pervert got
Hopefully he just pulled over and let her out at that point. We don't really know what happened.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the party room, and Uncle Martin gets there, and he decides he's gonna bolt Clifford into this room.
Well, he finds him tied up, hog-tied. He finds him hog-tied in the bedroom.
And he goes, "Uncle Martin, they told me stories. Some of them were good, but some of them weren't." and it's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, "You know what? This little bastard put himself in this situation. I'm gonna leave him there." And he finds all this 2x4 outside, and he bolts him into this room. He goes, "You're not getting out of here, you little motherfucker!
Oh yeah.
And then he falls asleep at the computer.
Yeah, he's working hard, trying to meet his deadline.
job. Yeah.
Well, Mary Steinberger shows up to the house because she like, boom, flies right there. And Martin goes, "Oh, thank heavens you're here." I said Martin. I'm sorry, Clifford. Clifford says, "Oh, thank heavens you're here." She gets him out, and he's like, "Crazy Uncle Martin." And
yeah, he says, "Tell her about the bikers in your damn no-no place."
In the no-no place. Yeah, because that was he told him when he first got back in that they tried to touch him in his no-no zone. So she gets him out of there because she's like, this guy that I've been in love with is possibly a sex pervert.
Yeah. Psychopath for sure.
Yeah, so she gets him out of there, but Uncle Martin isn't done. He's got to take him for his revenge.
Yeah. I just have to say though, at that point, like when I first watched this movie, my hatred towards Clifford was at an all-time high at this point because at this point he's lost his woman and she's coming back like trying to tell him, "Oh, your boss had a sexual encounter with me." She doesn't even get to tell him that.
No,
because
not
she's
at
like,
all.
She's thinking, "Oh my God, here's Uncle Martin, hogtied Clifford and sealed him in this room, not only the door but all the windows and shit too." And she thinks he's a crazy person, and he just continues to fuck up his life. And that's not it, man. He does him one better at this next part. He goes to work, and what happens, right? Like, he's supposed to present his new project. He's got that,
God,
that 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, the drawn on 5 o'clock shadow.
And he puts this little like RCA cassette tape in that's supposed to like, I guess, illuminate this thing to show what it is.
His boss talks shit to him.
Yeah, and he looks like Willie Nelson.
Ponytail now.
Yeah, he's got that new ponytail wig.
He's like, "What are you looking at?" He's like, "Nothing."
Willie Nelson.
Yeah, he's like, "You look like shit." He's like, "Well, after the guy walks away, you look like Willie Nelson."
Willie Nelson, but he somehow heard him.
Yeah.
And then he puts the fucking little RCA tape in there, and the whole goddamn thing blows up. How did you even program it? It's a 10-year-old kid. How did he do that? But, guys, we totally forgot about it. Do you remember earlier on in the film when, like, they were talking to the boss and he was in that back room and he was, like, fucking with the thing in the back and he was causing, like, the screen to warp and, like, all, like, the... So this is clearly he's not a 10-year-old boy. This is Satan. Dude. This is the Antichrist.
He is.
Yeah.
And Uncle Martin even says that at one point.
He calls him the devil.
I underestimated the evil one.
That's right there when he says it. He just gets this sadistic look on his face.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's
Clifford. Brilliant.
Who the hell is responsible for this?
I am.
You're fired.
Of course I am.
By the way, I happen to love Willie Nelson.
I underestimated the evil one.
When Charles Grodin
What year did you say this came out? 91?
94. 94,
Listen,
I think.
this movie was snubbed for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, because I'm telling you what.
It tanked at the box.
So many fucking layers to this movie.
Yeah.
So the thing blows up and he goes, "Dude, I fucking had it." So he's gonna go swipe. He's gonna go swipe old boy Clifford. And he swipes him. And he puts him in a straitjacket. And where does he take him to? He takes him to
Dinosaur World.
And then, so he's going to take him to go see the thing he's wanted the whole time, but he's in a straitjacket. And he makes a really passive remark to him about, he's like, "How's it feel in that straitjacket?"
The reason he can get access to this place after hours is he designed
it,
Larry the Scary Rex.
Yes.
And they even sing the song.
Larry
the Scary Rex.
He's a scary dinosaur.
And we get these beautiful matte painting shots that are actually really well done. I wouldn't say they're bad at all for the early 90s. It's actually really well done.
Yeah.
I was surprised. The rest of the film felt pretty moderate, but like that actually, like there's really good production value. And what you said with the roller coaster that they get on, it's like really fucking well done. It looks
like
really
they built
good.
it themselves.
Yeah.
That's where they put all of the budget.
Yeah. And Martin Short. Yeah. So he takes him in there. And he's like, "I'm going to give you exactly what you wanted, but you're going to have to ride it 100 times." He goes, "Thanks, Uncle Martin."
Yeah, he's like, "How will you feel after 10 hours?" He's like, "Well, then we'll see how you feel after 100 hours."
"Thanks, Uncle Martin." And so he puts him on the ride the first time. And we get this slow like walkthrough of the ride, and like it's really beautiful. Some of the turns it takes doesn't make any sense.
Right,
They just
he's on the wall for like 5 seconds.
But it's really cool. And then he comes back and he goes, "We're gonna turn up the speed a little bit." And he turns it up, and he does not like where it goes after that speed gets cranked up at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes through a second time and makes some remarks to Uncle Martin, and then he turns it into hyperdrive.
So I don't want to put it into hyperdrive, but I can't.
help myself.
My Uncle Martin has lost it at this point. Okay, he lost his girl. Okay, now he's lost his job, and now he's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking kill this kid.
Yeah,
basically at this
100%.
point,
Yeah.
like, and this is where it disappointed me because I was really hoping
They would
Uncle
kill the
Martin would
kid.
go all the way
Yeah.
and just finish him.
This is not a children's movie, so since it's for adults, we assume kill the kid.
Yeah, man.
Like kill him.
He's
It
gonna
would be
snap.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be some moral message at the end, but that's pretty convoluted. So he starts to fall down, and he goes in there, and Martin is falling off the ride. He's holding on barely.
Martin.
No,
Martin
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Martin Short, who is Clifford, who has a
the
lot of
evil
self-hatred. Clifford is falling down, and he goes, "I'm gonna have to think about saving him." And he goes, "Uncle Martin, please help me." And he goes, "I'm thinking about it."
I love that shot because they go from all that chaos and then from him screaming for help,
With the
and then you
smoke
have that
behind
shot
him?
of just black back.
Uncle Martin!
I'm thinking it over.
Please, I'm scared.
Well, I'm scared of what might happen if I save you.
Background behind Uncle Martin with the smoke pouring
Yeah.
out, and he's just like,
It is a really good shot because it's like it conveys everything he's thinking.
Exactly.
He's fucking fuming, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to think about it," but it's a 40-year-old in a 10-year-old's body. He's got to save the 40-year-old, 10-year-old. So
I think he ultimately does it for selfish reasons. He's like,
Yeah.
if I don't, that's why he thinks about it. He's like, I do want you dead, but if I kill you, I will never get Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, take the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I'll let you live.
But then we pan back to 2050, or is it 2055? Somewhere in there, 2050. We pan back to there, and like he's making the comment of like, I tried to reconcile things with Uncle Martin. I've sent him 250 some letters, but he won't respond. But somehow he was their ring bearer at their wedding.
yeah, the bestest job in the, whole wide world.
job in the whole
It's because
wide world.
Uncle Martin never forgave him, but Mary Steenburgen had a
did.
sweet spot for him. She still wanted.
You think they fucked?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, he's not really 10, so there's nothing wrong with it. He was a 40-year-old man.
But then they both kiss him on the cheek.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, and I had to say that's when he got like,
Chef's kiss.
He like gets off at it, right?
Yeah.
Like he like jizz in his pants little thing because he gets Uncle Martin one last time.
He does.
He's like, I made you
goes,
kiss my
"Oh!"
Yeah, dude, like I fucked you one last time, Uncle
Yeah.
Martin.
And so then he goes back to the kid and he goes, "Listen, kid," he's like, "I was the biggest piece of shit in the entire world in my life. You don't have to worry about it." And Ben Savage goes, "I'm going to go on to make Boy Meets World." And then the movie ends. It fades to black.
Oh, but he still somehow has his little pet dinosaur,
Yeah.
which he had on the ride.
Yeah.
And it was just sitting on the thing. It got knocked down
What
by
was
the,
the pet
by
dinosaur's
the
name?
gun. Stefan.
He said Stefan, everything's
But
good
he
now.
still had Stefan. Yeah, thanks. Mission accomplished, old friend.
So,
Yeah.
I guess what I would say is Clifford's a masterpiece.
I love this movie.
Jared, have you come around on it?
I mean, I can't because what blocks me from coming around on it is that he didn't kill Clifford.
But I understand, but here's the thing. Martin Short's comedic timing is great. It doesn't make any sense that it's a 10-year-old, but the thing is, it's so fucking bad that it's entertaining to watch. And honestly, the screenwriting isn't that terrible. I'd say overall, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm glad. I think I watched this when I was very young, but I don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
Now I'll never be able to purge it from my mind. Larry, the scary Rex.
He's a scary dinosaur.
But don't be scared of his sharp teeth or his mighty roar.
Yeah. We got anything else we want to say about this fucking movie?
Go see it.
Watch
They only
Clifford.
made like $5 off this movie. They actually lost millions of dollars on this movie. So go see it.
If you like high anxiety flicks where you're pissed off at half the movie, then yes.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, like, I came around a little bit because from watching it from a kid, I loathed this movie.
Yes.
But watching it again, it's very clever. And to Martin Short's credit, he
kills
the
it.
shit out of his character.
He fucking kills it in this movie.
Did a good job.
So, final words. We'd like to thank our special guest today. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you guys for
around.
having me.
Thanks for coming around, Colin. Do you have anything you want to say?
It's on Amazon Prime. Just
get it.
Rent it for like $3 and have a few beers and laugh your ass off. It's a great movie.